It's March 2nd, 2018. And here's a couple tips for anybody that wants to experiment with lasers and optics. Optics can be really expensive, but there's a lot of really cheap alternatives if you keep your eyes open. For example, here's a bunch of old binoculars that you can pick up at flea markets and other places. Other optical assemblies here. That's a good source for cheap optics. And if you take them apart, you can get some pretty decent lenses out of them. Here's an example. Here's a compound lens out of a binocular. Here's another lens, plano convex lens. Something else you can get is prisms. Here's a prism out of a set of binoculars, and as you can see here, with a prism you can change the direction 90 degrees. So right now I've got a small laser mounted here, and I'm projecting it up to a mirror up on the shelf, and it's reflected back to a target. The round trip is probably about less than 40 feet. So using old binocular parts, here's an objective out of a binocular. You can use that to focus the laser. The return laser here, the reflected laser, diverges quite a bit with distance, and that increases the farther you get. Plus, when you're reflecting it, that also adds to it. But using this objective lens out of an old binocular, I can focus the laser to a finer point by adjusting the focal length. There's about the focal point there. So at that dot, if you had a phototransistor or a photodiode, you'd have the maximum amount of light energy falling on that object. Some other lenses you can get. Here's another example of just a cheap lens. Focus it. Another source. You can buy these helping hands. They're to help you solder things, and it has a nice lens on it. It's glass, and that also will focus the laser beam to a sharp point. Something else you need is first surface mirrors. For example, here's a first surface mirror. You can tell by looking at the edge. You can see the silvered area through the glass here, and on here the actual reflective surface is on the surface of the glass. And a good source for that, if you can find them, is a overhead projector that uses one of these. And I can cut quite a few mirrors out of this into small little blanks. Anyway, that's just a few tips on obtaining lenses for your optical experiments that won't cost you a fortune. If you go to Edmund Scientific and others, you can pay quite a bit for lenses, but there's a lot of lenses out there that are either free or very inexpensive. All you got to do is keep your eyes open. Even a magnifying glass can be used. Oh, this one isn't as good. The focal length's a little too long to be practical. But there you can see the dot is focused to a fine point. And this is all by hand. You mount these on an optical bench and you can adjust them quite accurately. Anyway, just a couple tips to make your experimenting affordable and fun. Bye for now.